In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can use Midjourney to create an endless amount of geometric, mandalas, and just patterned colouring pages in general, and that look like this. Now, what we're going to do is just take a look at a few of these examples on patterned colouring pages which I created just here. Then I'm also going to give you a prompt which you can play around with and adapt so you can create your own patterned colouring pages. Then I'm going to cover a few other things as well. So let's take a look at a few of these which I want to share with you. This one looks pretty good and it's like a mandala. Then I have like a star mandala just here which I also thought looked pretty good as well. Now with Midjourney and these colouring pages, you can now create them to where they don't actually look like they've been created by AI. When we're taking a look at all of these, you would have no idea that these were created by AI, just because they look that good. Now, that's the second one. The third one, which is this one, this is like a Zentangle patterned colouring page which I thought looked pretty good. This one as well, and then this one's more of a floral pattern which also looks pretty good. Then we have a heart mandala. So I've actually got quite a few of these and these turned out pretty amazing. Then I have this one just here. Now with those ones which I just shared with you, I'm not going to give you the prompt for them because it actually took me quite a while to refine those prompts, but these ones just here was all made practically with the same prompt, and that's the prompt which I'm about to give you in a few minutes. But if we take a look at this one, this looks pretty good. So does this one. I thought this one actually looked really good. Then we have this one just here, this one as well, more circles, and then these ones as well. Now as you can see, and like I said, you would have no idea that these were actually created with AI just because they look that good. And that's the aim of the game. You don't want your colouring pages to look like they were created by AI. You want them to look professional and just to look really good. And that's why I believe that mandalas, Zentangles, geometric, and any type of patterned colouring pages work extremely well with Midjourney. And the great thing about creating mandalas or any type of patterned colouring pages in Midjourney is that you can put in the same prompt over and over again and you're going to get different results. Now let's go over to just here so you can check out the prompt. Now what I'm going to do is leave this prompt down in the description so you can come through, take the prompt, go over to Midjourney and play around with it. Now for best results, use this as a base prompt, then you can play around with it, add new words and just refine the prompt for yourself. So here it is. This is black and white full page pattern colouring page for kids. Radial, full page with no border, symmetrical, simple, geometric, abstract pattern, interlocking circles, shapes with bold black lines, colouring, relaxation, simple line art, printable, outlined art, thin lines, crisp lines, and then style 4B. Now, a couple of things to note, I've got it just down here. You can either use kids or adults. Now with these words here, you'll get completely different results. So up here it's colouring page for kids, but you can change that to adults. Then we have detailed or simple. So right here, where is it? Just here, where it says simple, you can change that out as well for detailed or simple, and you will get different results. And just here, geometric, you can change that out for mandala, or just keep it on geometric as well. So that's the prompt. It is going to be down in the description for you to check out and play around with. So let's go over to Midjourney so you can see this prompt in action. Now, quick side note, here's the settings which I have for my mandala or my pattern colouring pages. Now, one thing to note about settings, my settings vary depending on what type of colouring page that I'm creating. So for creating any type of patterned colouring pages, I have it on MJ version 4, I have base quality, style medium and a regular upscale. So they're the settings that I've got and which allowed me to get this. Now let's plug this in to here. Let's do that again because I forgot to put the imagine. So let's do that. So I have black and white full page pattern colouring page for kids. Remember, that can be changed out for adults. And then simple can be changed out as well, and also geometric right next to it can be changed out for Mandala. Now right here where it says interlocking circles, shapes with bold lines, you can take that out as well. Again, just use this prompt as a base prompt and then adapt it, play around with it to see what results you can get. So we've got this, we're going to click enter. What I like to do is a few different ones at the same time. So let's put that in 3 or 4 times. We're going to do 4 and then we're just going to let that roll for a second so we can see what we're going to get. Now let's just give that a second to do its thing. In fact, I'm just going to pause it for a second to speed up the video. So, I can't actually show you the prompt in action because Midjourney is actually having a few problems at the minute, so I might just create a separate video about using this prompt. But in the meantime, let me cover a few other things which I also wanted to cover. Now, these are ones that I previously made and that you saw in the examples. Now, one thing to note right here, this one was with interlocking circles, shapes with black bold lines. Then if we scroll up, we can see right here that I actually took down the circles and it's just interlocking shapes with bold black lines. So as we can see, you're going to get completely different results. Now if we scroll up, we can see that I was trying to put in the prompt, but we're facing issues, so I've just decided not to do that part because I paused the video and I was waiting around for a very long time. Now, one thing to note as well, when it comes to upscaling, you can practically do all of the upscaling here within Midjourney. Now, once you put in your prompt, you're going to get 4 different images. There's going to be 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then under it is going to say U1, U2, U3 and U4. That's how you do the first upscale. So just with these were done just with that first upscale where it said U1, U2, U3 and U4. I clicked that first upscale just to get it like this. Now one thing to note about upscaling is that your upscaling method will be slightly different depending on what type of colouring page that you're trying to create. Now with intricate detailed colouring pages for adults, you can actually use the detailed upscale and the beta upscale just here in Midjourney, and it does a pretty good job. But for simpler things like kids colouring pages or even patterned colouring pages like this, you don't want to use these. See, these upscalers are designed to add more detail, and when it comes to kids colouring pages or patterns like these, you don't want to do detailed upscales because it puts too much detail within the image. So again, right here, this was just done with the U1 upscale, and that's how I keep it. Now I do actually upscale it even more, but not to bring out any more detail. Now the perfect upscaler for this is called bigjpeg.com. Now what I'll do is link this down in the description as well, so it's a little bit easier for you to come and check out. But using this upscaler, once you've created your simple colouring pages, you can then take them from Midjourney, add them here in BigJPeg, do a 4x scale up, and it's going to upscale the images so they're bigger dimensions, but it's not going to add any more detail. So right here, if I took this, added it in there, it's just going to upscale the image with no more detail, which are perfect for creating colouring pages. Now, why do I do that? Well, if we come back over to here, let's go to this first one just here, and let me just go to my uploads just here. Right here, these are the ones which have been upscaled by using BigJPeg. Now, why do I do that? Well, then it's a bigger image and you can actually drag this out and it's not going to mess up the quality. So you can do this, make the picture larger, and again we can see it's not going to mess up the quality when you drag the image out to make it bigger. So that's why I use the big JPEG Upscaler to create a bigger image, so it's easier to drag out. So let's just delete that again. Let's just come over to here. Let's take this border. Let's put that just here. Now let's take this image and we can see now if we drag this out, it's going to stay the same. So let's do this. Let's just make this bigger like so. Let's move that to there. Let's just make sure that that's centered. Let's just bring that in like so. And then let's just do that like this. Let's just zoom in a little bit, just so we can sort that out. So let's go to here, let's take this, let's just move that there. Let's just do these sides as well quickly. And then let's just do that top one. And we can see we're even zoomed in and the quality is pretty good. Now the quality will also depend on the image that you've created. Some images just aren't that great quality and it doesn't matter how much you upscale. So let's just zoom out. Let's go back to fit. Let's just move that behind and we can see that it looks pretty good. Again, upscaling using big JPEG is just going to upscale the image, but it's not going to put any more detail in, as you can see. Now you're probably thinking, why do I use the 1:1 aspect ratio and not the 2:3? Well, if we go back over to here, you can take your prompt. So let's take this again. Let's just put that in. It's not probably going to work, so I'm not going to click enter. But let's put that in. If you don't put any requirements at the end of the prompt, it's going to give you this 1:1. If you want the 2:3, you can just do --AR space 2:3. Then that's going to give you the best dimensions, which are better for a colouring book page 8 by 11. But again, when you use the 1:1, you seem to get a lot better results than what you would by using 2:3. Now that's specifically for these type of patterned colouring pages. But again, just come through to Midjourney, use this prompt, play around with it, adapt with it, try different dimensions. You could do the 2:3 or the just standard, which is 1:1, and play around with it to see what images that you get. You can play around and change kids for adults. You can change the simple for detailed and change the geometric for mandalas. Now, another thing which I want to note really quick and which I almost forgot about is, now why do I actually prefer creating patterned mandalas or patterned colouring pages? Well, because I have a few books on KDP where I get some type of patterned colouring page and then I create quotes on top, just like this. So being able to create your own patterned colouring pages and then create quotes on top of it is going to make your book more unique. Now if you want to watch this video, I will also link it down in the description and in the corner of the screen on a card on the right hand side. So take the prompt which is down in the description, play around with it, come over to Midjourney and start creating your own patterned colouring pages. As you can see, they actually look really good. And you can make some really nice designs. Just note that not every image that you create in Midjourney is going to be a good one, so you do have to make variations until you get ones that look good. Now, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Also, go hit subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you can be notified for any further videos. And if you'd like to see that video on how I create quote colouring pages, then click right here and watch this video.